Alright guys, this video should conclude our fraction operations videos. So this one is going to be over multiplying and dividing fractions. And I'm going to try to go very quickly on this one, so it's possible that you're going to have to pause your video whenever you need to and finish copying down. Okay, you should already have this in your table of contents because we've already done pages 14 and 15 in the previous adding and subtracting video. So now let's go ahead and flip over to pages 16 and 17. And just a reminder that this is pages 14 and 15 that you should have copied in the last video. Okay, so when we're done with this video, this is what your pages 16 and 17 are going to look like. So as you can see, we are going to make foldables for multiplying and dividing fractions. So right now, if you don't have paper, please go ahead and pause the video and go get you 2 sheets of paper. And the paper can either be copy paper or it can be notebook paper. And do not tear the paper out of your composition notebook. Pause the video and go get you some paper and scissors. Okay, now you should be back with your paper. You're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it just like you did the Dr. Pepper foldable. So fold hot dog style. And then make your 3 equal sections and crease. So that when you open it up, it looks like this. Now I know I'm going very fast and you probably don't have that folded, so pause the video. Okay, now you're going to title your 3 sections. The top one is multiplying fractions. The second one is multiplying whole numbers and fractions. So this is going to talk about how we multiply by whole numbers. And the one at the bottom is going to be multiplying by mixed numbers. So this will tell us how to multiply whenever we have a mixed number. Okay, now let's go back to the top section. Open it up and copy our notes. Okay, multiplying fractions is very simple, guys. You're multiplying straight across and then you simplify. I mean, that's all it is to it. It's super easy. So in our first example, we have 5/6 times 4/9. We're going to multiply 5 times 4 and then 6 times 9. That takes us to 20 over 54. And since both of these numbers are even, we can simplify them both by dividing by 2. And that gives us a final answer of 10 over 27. Okay, this down here is where I've just shown you a different way to do the same exact problem. And you may want to learn this way because when we get into bigger numbers in our fractions, you're going to want to know how to simplify first to make those numbers smaller and easier to work with. So check to see if you can simplify before multiplying. So in this particular problem, we have a 4 in the numerator and we have a 6 in the denominator. It doesn't matter that they're not in the same fraction together. As long as one is in the numerator and the other number is in your denominator, you can go ahead and divide and simplify. So in this situation, I'm going to end up multiplying 5 times 2 and 3 times 9. It still gives me that same 10 over 27. So notice these answers are the same. So it doesn't matter which way you do it, just as long as you can do it. All right, if you haven't finished copying all of that, please pause. I'm going to the next section. So now let's open up the middle section and copy down the steps. Notice the steps are exactly the same as what's up at the top. There's just one additional step. Since we have a whole number this time, we first need to make our whole number a fraction number. So remember, we can take any whole number and make it a fraction just by putting it over 1. So easy. I know. We ought to be ashamed of teaching y'all this easy stuff. Okay, once you have a whole number, once your whole number is a fraction, you're now able to multiply straight across and then simplify. So notice my problem, I took the 6 and I wrote it over 1. Now I'm ready to multiply by the fraction 3/4. So 6 times 3, 1 times 4. That gives me 18 fourths. I can divide by 2 to get 9 halves. Remember, part of simplifying is also converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. So the next thing I want to do is divide the 9 halves to make it 4 1/2. Okay, this part down here is basically what I just did. in the previous problem where I simplified before dividing. Before multiplying. So notice I have the same 6 here, the same 4 here. Both numbers are divisible by 2. So this time I'm going to multiply 3 times 3 and then 1 times 2. I still have the same 9 halves, which equals 1 1/2, 4 1/2. Okay, now in our last section, multiplying mixed numbers. Okay, notice the only thing that is different is that first step. So the first thing we have to do if we have a mixed number is we have to convert our mixed number to an improper fraction. Kind of sounds like we're going backwards since I just told you to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers, but you cannot multiply by a mixed number, guys. It's not possible. So you've got to change mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So notice the first thing I did was I changed my mixed number to improper fraction. So remember to do that. We multiplied denominator times whole number and then add in the numerator. Since I put you a whole number in this example, remember, we still have to put that whole number over 1 to make it a fraction. Now I'm ready to multiply straight across and then simplify. 19 times 9 is 171. 5 times 1 is 5. Improper fractions now need to be changed back to mixed numbers for a final answer. So your final answer becomes 34 1/5. Okay, now you should have one foldable completed. And the way that we're going to put our foldables in the notebooks, go ahead and tell you this, is all I did was open it up. I put a piece of tape right here and stuck it in the notebook. Now you can easily fold it up. And this bottom flap that's sticking out, just fold it up and you can easily fold your foldable into your notebook without it sticking out. Okay, let's go to our dividing fractions foldable. So on your second blank piece of paper, you need to write this on the outside. Your first section is just dividing fractions. So no whole numbers, no mixed numbers. The second section is where we're going to do the whole numbers. So dividing whole numbers and fractions. And that is a 4. I messed it up. And the last section is where we're dividing with mixed numbers. So pretty much kind of the same as the way that we did the multiplying. There's just one additional step when you're dividing fractions that you don't do when multiplying. So let's open up our folder and see what it is. And it is the keep, change, flip, which means we are going to end up multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So technically when we divide fractions, we end up multiplying in the end. So the first step is to create the reciprocal of the second fraction. So in my problem, I have 3/5 divided by 2/7. Well, if I keep, change, flip, that means I'm going to keep this 3/5. My operation changes to multiplication. And my second fraction, I'm going to flip it to make its reciprocal of 7/2. Now that I have a multiplication problem, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the previous foldable. Multiply straight across, and then simplify. Okay, I'm pretty sure you haven't copied all that, so make sure you pause the video and get it all written down. Okay, in the second section, which should be your whole numbers, notice our steps, or our first step is the same as what we did when we multiplied. Whole numbers still have to be written over 1. We just have this additional step in, which is where we're going to change our problem to a multiplication problem. So we got to add in the keep, change, flip step, and then we still multiply straight across and simplify if needed. So in our example, we're doing 6 divided by 3/4. So notice the whole number has been written over 1. And now I'm going to take my first number and keep it. I'm going to change division to multiplication. And then I'm going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 3/4 is going to flip over to 4/3. Now I'm ready to multiply straight across. 6 times 4, 1 times 3. Since 24/3 simplifies to 8, 8 is my final answer. And I've gone over how you can check to see if you can simplify before multiplying. But I do want to point out right here that I was dividing both of these numbers by 3. So this should be a 2. So make sure you put a 2 right here, guys. So that 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, last section is dividing with the mixed numbers. Notice it's the same first step as in your multiplying, which is convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then we have this same step all the way through with dividing fractions. That is not in multiplying fractions. So as I said, that's the only difference from multiplying and dividing, because we actually end up multiplying when we divide fractions. So now let's look at this example. We have 2 3/5 divided by 2/3. When I convert 2 3/5 to an improper fraction, I'm going to multiply 5 times 2 and then add in 3. That's where 13/5 comes from. So now I'm going to take this problem and apply my reciprocal multiplication. So I'm going to keep 13/5. I'm going to change division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip 2/3 to make it 3/2. Now I'm going to multiply straight across and simplify by changing improper fraction to mixed number. And that's all it is to multiplying and dividing fractions, guys. And don't forget, again, put your piece of tape right here. Close up your foldable, fold that little piece up. Now you have both of your foldables in your notebook, and you can easily close it.